In the late spring of 1912, the graceful yacht Enchantress put out to sea from rainy Genoa for a Mediterranean pleasure cruise, a carefree cruise without itinerary or time schedule. The skies brightened as she steamed south. Soon she was bathed in sunshine. Enchantress belonged to the British Admiralty. The accommodation aboard was as grand as that on the King's own yacht. The crew numbered nearly 100 and served a dozen or so guests who had come from Britain via Paris, where they had stayed at the Ritz. Among them were the British Prime Minister Herbert Asquith, his brilliant 25-year-old daughter Violet, the civilian head of the Admiralty, Winston Churchill, and Churchill's small party of family members and close colleagues. In the final enchanted years before the First World War brought their world to an end, they were as privileged a group as any the world has known. Violet Asquith kept a diary of her journey. In Pompeii, she and her friends wandered down the long, lovely, silent streets that once had pulsated with life of imperial Rome. Now, she noted, those once lively streets were overgrown with grass and vegetation. In Sicily, her party climbed to the ruins of an ancient Greek fortress and, amidst wild lavender and herbs, had a picnic lunch, sitting on blocks of stone from the fallen walls. Later they went higher still to watch the sunset over the sea from what remained of the old Greek theater on the heights. There they lay, among wild thyme and humming bees, and watched the sea changing from blue to flame and then to cool jade green as the sun dropped into it and the stars came out. Rotations and revolutions, the heavenly movements that cause day to become night and spring-summer to become autumn-winter, were reflected in her observations of the landscape and its lighting. But a sense of the mortality of civilizations and of political powers and dominations did not overshadow Violet's cheerful vision of her youthful voyage to the lands of antiquity. Her father presided over an empire roughly twice as large as the Roman Empire at its zenith. She may well have thought that her father's empire would last twice as long, too. The Prime Minister, an enthusiastic sightseer, was inseparable from his Baedeker guidebook. An ardent classicist, he read and wrote with ease and pleasure in classical Greek and Latin. Winston Churchill, no scholar of ancient languages or literature, was as jealous as a child. "Those Greeks and Romans," he protested, "they are so overrated. They only said everything first. I've said just as good things myself, but they got in before me."